Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and thank you guys so much for tuning in for our fourth day in a row going live talking about the Minnesota Vikings. It has been a long, hectic week, and we are here to discuss the latest around your favorite football team. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about Cooper Kupp on today's show, but I will say quickly here on the Aaron Rodgers front, I have thought about it all last night. I went back and actually watched every single Aaron Rodgers throw from the 2024 season, every single one that he made last night. It was a grind to finish all of that. So that's why you guys didn't get a Harrison Smith video from me last night. I was just, relaxing, wanted to really dive into this Aaron Rodgers situation, and I still stand in the camp that it would be the wrong decision for the Vikings to bring in Aaron Rodgers. And I think a lot of this is Rodgers' camp kind of feeding this information to a person like Dianna Russini, who reported this yesterday. I honestly think it has a 0.5% chance to happen. Aaron Rodgers heading to the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing has came out since yesterday, but, the only couple of things where I think it's pretty interesting by the Vikes, and Darren Wolfson said this on Score North today, and he was just kind of raising an eyebrow at the fact that the Vikings, they haven't had their media sessions with, some of these new signings like Will Fries, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, and all of those could have happened so far considering, the Chicago Bears, they had Grady Jarrett up there yesterday. Ben Johnson talked, and the Vikings have not done that, and there was a little speculation that maybe it would have been today where they could have talked, but that ended up not being the case. Again, I just think it's very, very unlikely that this Rodgers thing is going to happen. And honestly, HV3 just put in a super chat. I want to stop talking about it. I'm going to give you guys one more video on my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, and then we will not talk about it again. Because, again, I think it is incredibly, incredibly unlikely that Aaron Rodgers ends up suiting up for the purple and gold next season. I think he'll probably end up in Pittsburgh. Maybe the New York Giants come in at the last second, but I just still am in the camp that it would be the wrong move for the Vikings to bring in Rodgers. You have J.J. McCarthy ready to go. And, I really wanted to sit back and think about, and this was a narrow-minded thought process from me, but I really wanted to sit back and think about next season. Who gives the Vikings a better chance to win a Super Bowl next year? Aaron Rodgers or J.J. McCarthy? And after going back and watching every single throw Rodgers made last football season, I still think it is J.J. McCarthy. I think he is a weapon being waiting to be unleashed. And honestly, I just really want the Vikings to sign a backup quarterback, sign Joe Flacco, sign Gardner Minshew, and we can just put this conversation to bed. I wish even somebody in the Vikings organization would just come out and say, J.J. McCarthy is the starting quarterback. He is who we're rolling with. And I guess that's why it makes it a little concerning that they haven't came out and said that just yet. Now, we've gotten reports, and it's all indicating that this will be J.J. McCarthy's team, and I understand that. I bet you we'll get that report. It could happen any second now in terms of just, really, affirming our thoughts that J.J. McCarthy is the guy. But it's just still a little weird that there is a lot of smoke out there about Rodgers heading to the Vikings. But I still think at the end of the day, this is Rodgers. He wants to go to the Vikings. Vikings probably don't have too much interest in him. And, I wouldn't blame Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi to just be thinking about the possibility. This guy did win 4 MVP awards, won a Super Bowl, one of the best quarterbacks we have ever seen. But is he who he was back in the day? Absolutely not. I know the touchdown to interception ratio looks good for Rodgers last year. 28 tuds, 11 interceptions. He was playing in a lot of meaningless football games, and he was just kind of calling the shots last year. Listen, I think it's not going to happen. And HV3 saying, my guy, stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to happen. I'm with you. I want to stop talking about it. I just wish the Vikings would just sign a backup quarterback. Please give me Joe Flacco. Give me Gardner Minshew, because even if we just got Brett Rippon's going to be the backup quarterback next season, anything to indicate that J.J. McCarthy is officially the guy, because still have not gotten that full real report just yet. But HV3, I appreciate you, man, for sending a super chat. And listen, I hate just talking about this because I feel like the conversation right now should be how excited we are to watch J.J. McCarthy, Harrison Smith's back, which also Harrison Smith signed in that 1 year $10 million deal necessarily. I thought it was pretty cool that the Vikings gave him a heftier payday than I thought, but that contract also indicates to me that the Vikings view Harrison Smith as a guy that's going to be a high-impact guy next year. Like, this isn't just a retirement tour necessarily for Harrison Smith. They probably expect him to step in next season and make plays for this football team. And also, I think this probably rules out the Vikings maybe drafting a safety in the first round, I would assume. Now, listen, if they like a guy like Nicky Manwari enough, I could still see them taking him. But I think the Harrison Smith signing pretty much locks up the Vikings safety position. But I think the Vikings will take a running back in round 1. I really do. Maybe it's a guy like Amari Hampton, which we talked about a lot yesterday, Caleb Johnson as well. You know, they could all be solid options for that first-round pick. But I'll ask you guys this. In terms of the backup quarterback for J.J. McCarthy, who do you want it to be? Now, I want it to be Joe Flacco, as I think it will be a good voice in J.J. McCarthy's ear to have as the Vikings are starting to, build up for the Super Bowl run with number 9 as QB1. I think Flacco would be a great guy considering what he did with the Baltimore Ravens. He went and, carried a stacked roster to a Super Bowl, and I think he would be a perfect voice in J.J. McCarthy's year, especially since this is McCarthy's first year starting. I would rather go towards the veteran guy comparison to a guy like Jameis Winston or Gardner Minshew, who, yes, at this moment, they're better quarterbacks than Joe Flacco is, but I still think the impact Flacco would have just in the quarterback room talking to J.J. McCarthy will be a lot bigger of an impact compared to, let's just say, if it was Gardner or Jameis Winston in the ear of J.J. McCarthy. And also, guys, if I blow my nose about 15 times today, my apologies. I am extremely under the weather right now, but still wanted to hop up live and chop it up with you guys about the latest around your Minnesota Vikings. But you guys let me know who should be the backup quarterback for J.J. McCarthy. Noah saying Cooper Rush would be good. I would hate a little Cooper Rush, actually. I don't think that's the worst idea in the world. Jameis is my favorite QB. I don't want as my quarterback. Allergies are not fun. I think I got a combination of allergies, me being sick, and then also me being exhausted from NFL free agency. We've been live here for about, what do you think in total, Dylan? Like 6 hours Monday, probably 5 hours total on Tuesday. We were live for 4 hours yesterday, so about like 15 hours total the last 3 days. So, who knows? Noah might be Cooper Rush's alt page. Does Cooper Rush want to go to Minnesota that we're picking up in the live chat? But listen, guys, I'm not a fan of talking about Aaron Rodgers here. I think it is extremely, extremely unlikely that he will, be playing for the Vikings. Like, I think I just still think it has less than a 1% chance of happening here. So I would rather go for Joe Flacco as the backup quarterback over a lot of other options. Now, if you want to make an argument to me like, J.J. McCarthy coming off that torn meniscus, I would prefer a quarterback who can step in and play, some spot starts if J.J. would, get re-injured this year. Then if that's your argument, I hear you. For a guy like Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew, I would still rather prefer the Joe Flacco route. I just find it a little weird that the Vikings haven't signed a backup quarterback yet, considering we just saw like Jacoby Brissett go to the Cardinals, Josh Dobbs go to the Patriots. Like, these backup quarterbacks are starting to fly off the board, and maybe everybody's just waiting for Rodgers. Like, maybe Gardner Minshew and the Vikings or Joe Flacco and the Vikings have already had conversations, and they're just kind of waiting for this Rodgers thing to be kind of fixed out, and then once that Rodgers move to Pittsburgh or New York, and then the Vikings will go target their, backup quarterback. But we will see. It was funny. Colin Cowherd, our good old friend, Colin, was putting out his NFC North predictions, and finishing last place in the NFC North will be the Minnesota Vikings, according to Colin Cowherd. And I cannot wait. And this is going to be great bulletin board material for the Vikings, is when because predictions month is normally like July in the NFL. When the draft's all said and done, like we're getting closer to, the start of the preseason, every single person will start making their predictions. And I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for the Vikings to be picked fourth by damn near everybody. Like, I think people will still choose the Packers over the Vikes just because they will have, the argument of, the Vikings have an unknown at the quarterback position. We know who J.J. McCarthy is. We have, and it's so funny, like I was just about to say, he's a proven player at this point, and I don't want to say just one preseason game kind of confirmed all of my thoughts and who I thought J.J. McCarthy was. But, the one concern I had about J.J. coming out is just in terms of him layering the football over zone coverages. That was definitely his weakest point back there when he was playing for Michigan and IMG. Like, if you go turn on his tape, even in high school, like, everything is a missile from J.J. McCarthy. But we saw it in that preseason game. He was layering the football very well. He's a really, really, really good athlete, and I don't think people give him enough credit for that. As Rappaport just said, off to the Giants. Who is he talking about here? Who is he talking about here? Oh, Russell Wilson leaving his meeting with the Cleveland Browns. Now he's off to his meeting with the New York Giants there. Minnesota sports fan saying, where's Dylan? Dylan's with us. Don't worry about that. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on this. Who will win the NFC North next season? Obviously, drinking a lot of purple Kool-Aid this week, but I think it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I think they got the best roster and coaching staff in the division. And listen, if J.J. McCarthy is who I think he is, this team is loaded. They are ready to go. You know what? Honestly, what I want to do, you just want to knock out this Rodgers segment. I kind of just want to give you guys my thoughts on this, kind of put the stamp on the whole thing because I think it's over. I really don't think the Vikings are going to bring him in, and I just kind of want to put my final stamp on it, get you guys my final thoughts on why I truly believe J.J. McCarthy, should be the guy and why I think the Vikings, know J.J. McCarthy is the guy. So I'll be diving into all of it. And also, I will play devil's advocate with myself. I will be saying why the Vikings should sign J.J. McCarthy, should sign Aaron Rodgers. Just kind of want to play both sides to this whole thing here. So we'll talk about it on today's show. Captain Flex saying, do you think we can trade for Sauce? I think the Vikings would have interest in trading for Sauce Gardner. But again, at the end of the day, it comes down – it takes two to tango. Like, are the Jets really willing to move off Sauce? I find it a little hard to believe considering, Aaron Glenn, new head coach for the New York Jets, played cornerback for them. I'm sure he's viewing as Sauce Gardner a guy he can, mold into the best cornerback in the National Football League. And, a lot of people considered Sauce the best corner in the National Football League before this past season. Had a little bit of a down year, had some tackling issues, but I think Aaron Glenn will get the most out of him. There in New York. And also I think, even if he were to be traded to the Vikings would get the most out of him as well. But hey, we're at 68 likes right now. If you guys want us to make our final Aaron Rodgers video of this offseason, hit that thumbs up icon, see if we can get to 100 likes. We can talk about it, get it all out of here, and then we can start shifting our attention to Cooper Kupp. We'll probably get some news on him, as Jordan Schultz said earlier today, that a Cooper Kupp decision will happen sooner rather than later. So we'll talk about that as well on today's show. As Charity saying, I get you're doing your job. I just don't even like to think about it. I was honestly sick to my stomach last night. So funny enough, guys, I had a dream last night that the Vikings signed Aaron Rodgers, and my brother actually did as well. I'm normally not a guy that can remember my dreams. But the only thing I remember, I was in a massive, ESPN-S production studio, and there was a huge studio audience. It looked like 1,000 people, and all it said was Vikings. It was fulfilling the prophecy. It was Vikings sign Aaron Rodgers. And I was about to throw up in my sleep last night. I really hope this isn't the case. Hope the Vikings, and it's also if, let's just say hypothetically here, if they were to sign Aaron Rodgers, I don't want to say everything we heard from Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi was a lie, but I mean, they have raved about McCarthy. They have raved about him being the guy next year. And if they would bring in Rodgers, now I'm not saying truly everything they've been saying about McCarthy would be a lie, but I don't know. I would just be a little more concerned for JJ, because if he is the guy I think he is, I think next season, and I made this the poll, who gives the Vikings a better chance to win a Super Bowl just next season? Obviously, for the next 5 years, it's McCarthy. For the next 2 years, it's McCarthy. But just for next season, who gives you the better chance? I really wanted to think about that, and I think it is J.J. McCarthy. Still, I know Aaron Rodgers is a 4-time MVP. He is not the same guy. Don't just look at the raw stats. And we actually have a lot of advanced analytics that will show you guys that Rodgers is not the same guy he was. He doesn't push the ball downfield as much as he does. And trust me, when you go look at the highlights of Rodgers in 2024, that right arm can still spin that football. Like, it's a very, you know who I'm going to compare Aaron Rodgers to right now? For all my NBA fans, Aaron Rodgers reminds me a lot of Paul George, where Paul George has a very aesthetically pleasing game, where you turn on his highlights, even this year from a disastrous year with the Philadelphia 76ers, if you just go watch his highlights, he's a super smooth player, but is he the same guy he was with Indiana? Absolutely not. Now, injuries were a big reason for that, but also I think Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of that effect where people just see him sitting back in the pocket, going off his back foot, flicking the football. It's a very aesthetically pleasing game, but when you really watch all of his tape, he can still spin it, but he's just not the same guy. As Mr. Rick, I heard about this. Thank you for bringing this up over here. But Mr. Rick Cha just sent a $10 super chat saying in memory of our friend Bill Harnett. Yeah, rest in peace, Bill. That is super, super, super sad, man. Marsh told me that when he hopped off live yesterday. But for you guys who don't know, I used to be the producer for our New York Giants and New York Knicks channels here before I started hosting videos. So I had a big part in those channels, and one of the biggest viewers and just super chatters and supporters for New York Giants now and New York Knicks now was this guy named Bill Harnett, they noticed he wasn't in the stream over the last couple of months, and it actually turns out he passed away. So it is super unfortunate. Prayers go out to that family. Really, really, really sad. He always brought some light into that chat. He was an awesome viewer. Yeah, so really, rest in peace, Bill. That was very, very sad when Marsh told me that yesterday. Honestly, I was in shock for a little bit last night just hearing that. So that was incredibly, incredibly sad news. So rest in peace to Bill. Hopefully that family is doing all right. But I think he was 54 years old as well, which is incredibly, incredibly sad. So, Seeps, you're greatly missed from the Giants family, buddy. Hey, I really appreciate my time over there. You guys show me all types of love, and wouldn't be who I was today without that Giants Now family. So rest in peace to Bill. Hopefully that family is doing all right, and if you guys would like to give your RIPs in live chat, feel free to. Obviously, here at Vikings Now, you guys don't know Bill Harnett too much, but he was just a loving soul, a great person. Always brought positive energy, no matter what stream he was in. So really, shout out to Bill, and hopefully he's all as well with that family. But we're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers kind of final video we will make on him and the Minnesota Vikings here. We'll talk about it in depth, and hopefully get some Cooper Kupp news later today. But we will see. We will see. But if you guys are ready to go, we just crossed over 100 likes. Let's dive into it. Everybody, take a deep breath, relax. We're going to be talking about on today's show, for one last time, the Aaron Rodgers Minnesota Vikings buzz that is just completely taken off over the last 24 hours because of the latest report from Dianna Russini. What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Now, coming up on today's show, I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers and pretty much be explaining to you guys why I don't think it would be a good decision for the Vikings to sign him and why they need to turn the keys over of the franchise to that guy right there, J.J. McCarthy. But before we dive into it, I want you guys to pick a quarterback for me, and I want you guys to think about this. Who do you think gives the Vikings a better chance to win a Super Bowl in the 2025 season? Just 2025, because I think if I asked you guys 25 for the next 2 years, next 3, 4, 5, everybody would be saying J.J. McCarthy. But just for next season, who gives the Vikings a better chance to win a Super Bowl? Give me a J.J. for J.J. McCarthy, or give me an AR for Aaron Rodgers. I better see a lot of J.J.'s in the live chat right now and in the comments section, because I think this guy's legit, and that's kind of the first point I want to make here. I think it would be a mistake for the Vikings to sign Aaron Rodgers. Now, after all the reports happened, Dianna putting it out there, I always thought this had a very unlikely possibility of happening. But I wanted to go back, and I watched every single throw Aaron Rodgers made last season. Every single one. It took me a very long time. but I really wanted to figure out, is Aaron Rodgers cooked? How washed is he? And I'm not saying he is a completely cooked product. I think he has just a little bit left in the tank, maybe one more strong season of playing maybe borderline top 15-ish play at the quarterback position. But when it is all said and done, if the Vikings do decide to turn it over to, let's just say, Aaron Rodgers, and, we get that breaking news, Rodgers is signing with the Minnesota Vikings, whatever that decision is, I would trust Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah that they are making the right move here. Now, would I agree with it? Would I say it's the right move? Absolutely not. I think the right move would just be to turn the keys over to J.J. McCarthy. But also, I just believe this whole Rodgers thing, and I had this typed out. I believe it has a less than 2% chance of happening. I think it has a less than a 0.5% chance of happening. I really just think this was the Vikings in the front office. They probably had one conversation about Aaron Rodgers because – Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi, they're very process-oriented people, and they want to dive into every option that is available, and just knowing who they are and how they go about things, it does not shock me that they at least consider the possibility of signing Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that has any indication of where J.J. McCarthy's at or how they view J.J., because a lot of people are now saying on Twitter and the YouTube comments, like, why are the Vikings even considering signing Aaron Rodgers? Like, what does this mean about J.J. McCarthy? I just think the Vikings are kind of going through the process of figuring out who, really will give them the best kind of chance to succeed next year and for the next 5 years. But Dianna Russini, this is what started it all yesterday. March 12th, she tweeted this out at 3:13 p.m. saying Vikings decision makers are still evaluating their options at quarterback, including the possibility of signing Aaron Rodgers. The four-time MVP is intrigued by the idea of playing in Minnesota. For now, it's a waiting game, sources tell her and Mike Silver. And Mike Silver also tweeted that out a couple days ago, just discussing that, or just reporting that the Vikings are at least discussing the idea of Aaron Rodgers. But that part right there, the four-time MVP is intrigued by the idea of playing in Minnesota. Yeah, it's kind of a no-shit report. I would assume Aaron Rodgers, if he had to pick any place to play next football season, it's probably the Minnesota Vikings, because they have not just the best support system for a young quarterback. I think the Vikings have the best support system for any quarterback. They have an elite top 5 defense. You have a much improved interior offensive line now, and that's going to create one of the better offensive lines in the National Football League. Got 2 great weapons on the outside. Got that solid tight end. Hopefully you'll have 2 running backs that are elite after they draft one. Hopefully in the first round, maybe a guy like Amari and Hampton. But, I would assume Rodgers wants to play in Minnesota. But the one thing I can't get over, and, I don't mean to raise speculation here, but why haven't the Vikings signed a backup quarterback? And maybe this is just them going through the process of just trying to figure out, if they're going to sign Aaron Rodgers, and maybe they're closing in on the idea that absolutely not, we will move in a different direction. But I think it is very interesting that the Vikings haven't signed a backup quarterback, considering we're seeing Josh Dobbs go to the Patriots. We're seeing these other Jacoby Brissett go to the Cardinals. We're starting to see these, I don't want to say high-end backups off the board, but now this is leaving the Vikings in a spot where it's like, all right, Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, they're still out there, which are, good backup quarterback options, but also, and I don't know if this is confirmed just yet, but I remember seeing it, that apparently the Vikings offered Darnold a 1-year, $25 million deal. Apparently they offered Daniel Jones a 1-year, I don't know the exact dollar figure, but they offered him a contract. Now, was that most likely to be for a backup quarterback position? 110%. But I also start thinking about J.J. McCarthy with this whole thing. And I'm really curious about this. How would J.J. McCarthy feel about the Vikings signing Aaron Rodgers? Because just even talking to people here in the Chat Sports studios, they're saying, oh, J.J. would be pissed. He would be upset about that being the case. I really disagree with that. I actually don't think J.J. would be, too vocal about him being upset. Now, I'm sure J.J. deep down, if you ask him behind closed doors, would you be upset about Rodgers? I bet you he would be saying, yeah, I'll be upset if they signed any quarterback to be a starter over me, because I want to get out there. I want to play for this football team. I'm sure he is still just heartbroken that he was having to miss his whole rookie year, even though, if Darnold still played out the season, J.J. probably wouldn't have played at all, but he still wants to be out there suiting up for this football team. And I am really curious, how would J.J. McCarthy feel about Aaron Rodgers coming in? Because this is a guy, J.J.'s 22 years old. Growing up, especially J.J. growing up in Chicago, he knew Aaron Rodgers very well. He knows how special he was back with the Green Bay Packers. So I don't think J.J. would view it as a slight to him and his game if Kevin O'Connell sat him down and said, hey, man, we're going to go with Aaron Rodgers just for 1 year, and then this is your team. Obviously, if something were to happen to Rodgers, like he would get hurt this year, then he would obviously step in and be the quarterback for this team. But let's just dive into Rodgers here a little more because, I think the whole notion that he is a complete cooked product is a little ludicrous. I don't think he is completely washed up at this point. Now, is he the same guy? Absolutely freaking not. But in the last 9 games, and when I was really watching him play, we saw an improvement in his game. And I think this was a lot of him just getting, honestly more control of the offense. Like a lot of this was him calling, most of the plays. Like honestly, if we got a report out there that Rodgers was calling every single play for the Jets for the last 2 months of the season, it would not shock me whatsoever. But again, you see the touchdown to interception ratio in the last 9 games. You're like, all right, Rodgers probably still has a lot left in the tank. It's a little misleading. Now, he still made some awesome throws last year. Like if you go just toss on the highlight tape, for example, Rodgers still has a very aesthetically pleasing game. And I will use this comparison. Aaron Rodgers reminds me, and I know this is comparing 2 completely different sports. And, we can even show the advanced stats here with Rodgers, kind of showing him that he is not the same guy. He doesn't push the ball down the field as much as he did back in the day. Obviously, yards per attempt, 28th in the National Football League. But you know who Rodgers reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Paul George. NBA superstar back in his day with the Indiana Pacers. Looked like he could have been one of the best basketball players in the league when he was with Indiana, going toe-to-toe with LeBron James and the Miami Heat. But he reminds me of Paul George in the way that both of them have very aesthetically pleasing games. Like still, Rodgers at 40 years old, when you see him drop back, hit his back foot, and he's throwing off that back foot as we know he will, and he's just kind of flicking the ball out there, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. I think people can kind of get tricked into thinking, oh, it looks good, so it must be good, where I think the same thing happens with Paul George. We see him making all his silky smooth crossovers. He got a super smooth jump shot. It just all looks very, very good. But then we saw Paul George with the Sixers this year. He's terrible. And I wonder if the same thing would happen with Rodgers if, the Vikings really dive into or really, buy into him, that we could be looking back and being like, man, why did we do that? That was a huge mistake. But, it kind of gets me to this. It all comes down to if Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell view Rodgers as the best option to win at quarterback next season. Like, do they seriously think Aaron Rodgers gives them such a significant jump than J.J. McCarthy would? Because even if they just view it slightly, like Aaron Rodgers just slightly, maybe it gives them that 1% better chance than J.J. McCarthy, I still don't think that's enough. Like, I would need Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi to come out and say, yeah, we think it's night and day the difference we will have offensively with Aaron Rodgers compared to J.J. McCarthy. So it's all going to come down to what Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and how they view Aaron Rodgers, kind of moving forward here in the organization. But let me ask you guys this. Is Aaron Rodgers cooked? Do you believe he is just nowhere near he once was? Do you believe he still has a little bit left in the tank? What say you on this one? Is Aaron Rodgers cooked? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I kind of am saying yes, but also he's not as cooked as a lot of people think, because people think he's like, not even a top 20 quarterback in the league right now, and I think that's a little ludicrous. I think he's probably in that 15 to 20 range. So I don't have a good answer for you guys on this, but what say you? Is Aaron Rodgers cooked? Y for yes, N for no. Now, I don't want to do this, but coming up here in just a second, I'm going to be making arguments because I think, just covering the Vikings, if I just got on here and I just said, no, the Vikings should not sign Aaron Rodgers, I want to be doing the service and showing you guys, my thought process here on going throughout this whole thing. So I dove into all the plays last night. I watched every throw from Rodgers. I'm going to be making arguments on both sides, why the Vikings should and they shouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers. That'll be coming up here in just a second. But before we do so, I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Factor Meals. Now, eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code VikingsChat50 off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Now, if you guys are ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes. So you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. And Factor, it arrives fresh and fully prepared and perfect for any busy or active lifestyle. Now here, covering the Minnesota Vikings during free agency and just covering this Aaron Rodgers nonsense. I don't always feel like making a home-cooked meal when I get off work after these long days, and that's where Factor has came in and changed my life. I love their teriyaki chicken, their Louisiana shrimp. They got a ton of different healthy and delicious options. And one more time, just get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off and use code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code VikingsChat50off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. I got that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show, but please check it out. Factor, a great sponsor we have here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. So click that link in the comment section if you guys want to change your eating habits today. Alrighty, let's talk about this. Let's break this down on both sides. So I got 4 reasons on why the Vikings shouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers, and then I'll give you guys 4 reasons on why they should sign Aaron Rodgers. But let's start off with what I truly believe in and where I stand is that they shouldn't. And the number one reason, it's the most obvious reason. It's time to start the J.J. McCarthy era. And I hate the argument, honestly, and this is something that even I used to say a couple of months ago where it's like, oh, the Vikings could just give J.J. McCarthy the Jordan Love treatment. Totally different situations. Because one, Jordan Love wasn't a top 10 pick. He was picked in the mid-20s. And also at the time when they picked Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers was still playing at an MVP, caliber level. And, Sam Darnold, I guess you make an argument he played at that level, but he's not here anymore. And I think you just need to take advantage of J.J. McCarthy on this rookie contract and, get him quality reps here early. Like, there is only one way J.J. McCarthy is going to get better, and that is him playing some high-end quality football, and he can just improve week to week off that. And if you say, like, oh, J.J. McCarthy, he can just improve, still behind the scenes like he was probably doing last year coming off his torn meniscus, I just think the improvement won't be as extreme in comparison to him actually going out there and playing. And also it's not a 1-year window for the Vikings. Like, if the Vikings had a lot of veterans, like let's just say Christian Darrisaw, if he was Trent Williams, and let's just say Justin Jefferson, he was the age of like Devontae Adams, and this was an older roster, and maybe they just had one more year to try to catch lightning in the bottle, then yeah, you would make Aaron Rodgers a great offer because you would be thinking, oh, this is the 1 year we got, but this isn't. This is a massive window for the Vikings. This is a potentially 15-year window. And I love the Joe Burrow quote where it's like, hey, do you think the Bengals Super Bowl window is closed? And he's like, their window is open as long as I'm the starting quarterback. That's probably how the Vikings view J.J. McCarthy. As long as he is our guy and he is under center, that is our Super Bowl window. And, I think also this, you just need to trust in Kevin O'Connell and the system. Like, this is the system, and this is the head coach who got career years and career games out of guys like Josh Dobbs. I mean, we even saw Nick Mullins step in at certain spots and look fantastic for this football team. Kirk Cousins had a career year. Sam Darnold obviously had a career year. You have to trust in Kevin O'Connell and the system that they will be able to get the most out of J.J. McCarthy and take this top 10 pick and turn him into a top 5 quarterback. And also, final reason, probably the best reason. If they signed Aaron Rodgers, anything but a Super Bowl win would be a disaster. A disaster. Because at the Vikings, even if you replicated, we'll take the Brett Favre situation, for example. Let's just say the Vikings were a play away from the Super Bowl. And, honestly, if Favre doesn't throw across his body, the Vikings probably have one Super Bowl win in their franchise history. But still, it would be a disaster if the Vikings weren't able to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I think it would be, and listen, and that's why it's so hard because, if Kevin O'Connell really does view Aaron Rodgers as the guy that gives him the best chance this year, and even if he wholeheartedly believes that, still, if you aren't able to get that Super Bowl win, it was just a waste of a year. Because let's just say I would rather take the Vikings go lose in the wild card weekend with J.J. McCarthy than they lose in the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. You may be saying you're crazy to think that. Everybody would take a Super Bowl appearance over a wild card, weekend appearance. I would rather have J.J. McCarthy go through the learning curves this year instead of just putting it off another year. But let's play devil's advocate. Why should they sign Aaron Rodgers? The best argument I can make is that Rodgers clearly wants the Vikings. I think the reason why all these reports are coming out is because if Aaron Rodgers had to pick where he wanted to play football next season, it would be with the Minnesota Vikings. I wholeheartedly believe that Rodgers views his best chance to go get that Super Bowl win would be with the Vikings. And I'm sure Rodgers would love to play the Packers twice a year. Same way as Favre would love to play the Packers twice a year when they decided to pivot to Rodgers. I'm sure he would want to stick at the Green Bay saying, hey, I was coming off an MVP season. You guys let me, walk out the door, go to the New York Jets. I'm sure he would want to stick it to him. And also this, a lot of conversation, Rodgers would be a cancer to the culture, yada, yada, yada. If you guys still believe, and I think a lot of us do, that the Vikings have the best culture in the National Football League, one player is not going to step in here and change the entire thing. One player is not going to come in here and turn the Vikings into the New York Jets, for example. The Jets were a disaster organization before Rodgers got there. He didn't help them whatsoever. He didn't help improve that culture. But also, you could say he, didn't, or you could say he heard it, and I'll probably, tend to agree with you. But it's not like the Jets had a crystal clear culture where it was like, this is what we're about, and Rodgers came in and completely flipped it on its head. Where I think if you would come to the Vikings, even if it's a disaster, the culture would still be in place. And also this, you would get a motivated Aaron Rodgers. You would get a guy, and I think there's something about all-time great athletes that a lot of us, we can't fully understand because I'm not an all-time great athlete. Everybody watching is not an all-time great athlete where you're on the level of Aaron Rodgers, of Peyton Manning, and he was just cut by the New York Jets. You're telling me this guy doesn't have the biggest chip on his shoulder right now where he was saying, yeah, I went to the New York Jets. They cut me. They're paying $49 million to have me not play on that football team. That has to be just driving Aaron Rodgers mad because he, a very egotistical person, he views himself as, better than the average person out there. And he would probably be extremely, extremely motivated to come here to the Vikings and prove the Packers wrong, prove the New York Jets wrong, that, hey, you shouldn't have let me go. They took a chance on me. Okay, watch this. And my last one. If I was saying why they should sign Aaron Rodgers, I would say he's not washed. Because I think a lot of people think that Rodgers is not even a starting caliber quarterback or he's a bottom 10 starting quarterback in the league. I just disagree with that. He can still spin the ball very, very well. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You see the touchdown to interception ratio, and you could trick yourself really easily into thinking Rodgers still has it. But I also don't think he is as washed as a lot of people think. So a lot to talk about on today's show. Again, I am still in the camp. I will pound this table that J.J. McCarthy should be the guy. He should be the starting quarterback for the near future. But if you guys, or not only the near future, the whole future is J.J. McCarthy. But if you guys made it to the end, give me a skull down below in the comment section. And also, if you guys want to hit me up on Twitter, that's a handle right there, at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's last edition of Vikings Now, talking about Aaron Rodgers. See you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, just wanted to walk through my entire thought process I was running through last night. I think that was a little bit of a longer video there. Might have been a little 20-minute one. But I just wanted to give you guys my whole thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers thing because, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of different, processes to go through, but still, it is J.J. McCarthy's team. Hopefully the Vikings give us some indication that is 100% right. God, these allergies are destroying me right now, fellas. Tommy Wood saying to Pat, I think our upper brass is not telling us everything on JJ's injury. I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. Well, we'll see if that's true. But, the reports you were getting that JJ will be ready to go for OTAs, so I'm assuming he's all right. We saw him throwing on air, I think it was like 2 weekends ago. His body, his frame is already looking better, adding a lot more muscle. Already back over, 200 pounds, which is great to hear. Peter saying, Pat, I sign you over Aaron Rodgers. I would rather have me be the quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. So Listen, hopefully this is the last time we talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. That was it. Got it all out of there. But Calvin, what's going on? Saying J.J. McCarthy would only want to see Rodgers here for 1 year. Do not need to waste J.J. McCarthy's contract like Green Bay did with Love contract. Year 3 has to be his team. I think year 2 has to be his team. Like, I don't want to waste any more just years of this contract. We already got unlucky last year. And I would have loved JJ to get those high-quality reps if he didn't tear his meniscus. That obviously wasn't the case. And you were able to get a great year out of Sam Darnold. It was awesome. There was a ton of fun. But still, I feel like this whole master plan all along was to get a rookie quarterback, build a stack team around him, kind of take the playbook from the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm with you. It has to be this year. If not, it better the hell be next football season. But Roger, what's going on? Saying no to Roger on Rodgers. No to Rodgers just because the fan base hates him. It is JJ the JJ time. That's also what I'm curious about. And I don't think Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell give two shits about what the fan base would think about this. But also, I am very curious. Let's just say they did sign Rodgers, and the Vikings started 1-3 because their schedule's terrible. We would all be saying, you guys got to go to JJ. I'm done with this Rodgers thing. I would be saying you should cut him, get him out of this organization now if the Vikings started 1-3. And that's why it's so risky, is because, you think on paper, signing Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year deal is not really that risky of a move. But you're just wasting 1 year. Listen, your Super Bowl window is always a lot shorter than you think. I think the San Francisco 49ers are figuring that out right now where it's hey, they got to reset. They got to trade a bunch of people. They let a lot of their top free agents walk. And they didn't really have an ability to see around that corner that their Super Bowl window, they probably should have done this last offseason. Now it's just going to push it back another year. So just go for it with JJ. I've been saying it. You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk. And you know what that risk is? It's JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy is that risk for the Minnesota Vikings. And hopefully they just end up making the right call here. I think they will. I really am just starting to get into camp. I had this weird feeling today that the Vikes were going to sign Rodgers. I just think it's over. I bet you we're going to get that report any second now that the Vikes are ready to move on. So I'm ready to move on from it. I'm sure you guys are as well. But hey, if you guys want the Vikings, we're going to get off the Aaron Rodgers conversation. Talk about a player that I know we all want. And that is our good old friend Cooper Kupp. Hopefully he ends up signing with the Vikings soon. Apparently this Cooper Kupp free agency thing is not going to drag on too long. So hopefully they're able to get him in the purple and gold soon. We'll see, though. We shall see. Sorry about the energy levels being low here, guys. Just not feeling too hot. He must not be the starter, I guess. Talking about JJ. I mean, you gotta assume JJ's the starter here. Cooper Kupp is not a bad choice at all. He would be a great wide receiver 3. Step in, be wide receiver 2 while Addison's suspended. Vikings could offer Kupp, I think, everything you would want in a place he could sign at. You would give him a chance to go win a Super Bowl in the NFC. He could get some revenge on the Rams if they end up squaring off in the playoffs. You would just give Kupp everything he would want in a team. He would still get a lot of targets. He would still get a lot of action as a wide receiver 3 in this offense. I mean, you saw Jalen Naylor. I mean, a guy who is not even close to the receiver Kupp is. I mean, how many touchdowns Naylor have? 6 last year? I think Kupp could potentially come here. May only have 300, 400 yards on the season. But I could see Kupp being a deadly weapon in the red zone. Still an elite route runner. Can he create as much separation as he once could? No, but I still think he could be incredibly impactful in the red zone. And then you would just have Jalen Naylor be that burner you could toss in there randomly. Have a couple of Jalen Naylor packages where it's just hey, Naylor, go run a deep post. Go run a streak route, and then you try to get him the football. But we'll see, everybody. We'll see what they decide to do. Yeah. Hey, if you guys got a question for me, you guys can obviously ask it in the live chat. You guys just go put hashtag Vikings. You talk fast or sick than I do. Well, don't knock yourself, dude. No. I appreciate you guys for saying that. I was feeling under the weather today. It's been a long free agency. Got a bad week to have allergies start kicking in Dallas, Texas, and not ideal. Not ideal. I just want the Vikings to sign a backup quarterback so bad. Hopefully they end up doing that. Odds of getting Sauce, extremely unlikely. Yeah, less than 1%. You know, we haven't heard any real reports about this. This is all just Twitter speculation. Would be fun though, man. Sauce Gardner would be sweet with the Vikes, but again, I think it's very, very unlikely. So I do have, for all my college basketball nerds out there, I'm a big Xavier University, the Musketeers basketball fan, and they're squaring off with Marquette right now, up 36-31 in round 2, technically, of the Big East tournament. Shout out to all my Big East fans. Best college basketball conference out there. Yeah, how about the T-Wolves last night? I was actually wanting to talk to you guys about that. I watched that game. When in doubt, the T-Wolves will beat up on the Nuggets, huh? I love that. They look good, man. They look good. I'll tell you what, Julius Randle, you know, it's so funny. I was probably the biggest Julius Randle hater when he was on the New York Knicks, just because I thought he was a black hole with the basketball. But I will say, Randle's kind of changed his game a little bit. He really has. Like, he's playing a more team-friendly brand of basketball. His ability to kick out the open shooters now, I feel like has dramatically improved just this year with the Timberwolves. I'll tell you what, and also, and I think this is just natural, and I don't know if any other, Timberwolves YouTubers have pointed this out to you guys yet, but normally in the NBA season, as we get to, middle of March, once we get to April, the refs start swallowing the whistle a lot more, and we see these physical basketball teams, like, their play will really take that next step. And with the Timberwolves, like, you got Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, they love to pressure the basketball, and, like, obviously hand checking is still illegal in the NBA, but they kind of let it go a little more once this time of the year comes around, because playoff basketball, I mean, it is just a physicality difference. It's night and day. So, listen, I think the T-Wolves, I'm not saying they could go on, a massive, deep playoff run, but I will say, big fan of what they've been doing. They've been playing great basketball as of late, and, really has completely flipped it on its head. But I think it's just the refs allowing these guys to play a little more physical, and the Timberwolves just have a lot of physical basketball players like Julius Randle, very physical, Anthony Edwards, very physical on defense, Jaden McDaniels, you know what he does. So shout out to the T-Wolves, man. Skull T-Wolves, baby. Skull T-Wolves. Cole, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in, sending a $5 super chat. Oh, these McCarthy doubters are in for one hell of a treat when the kid comes in and balls out. That JJ to JJ connection can't get here soon enough. There's no doubt, like, I feel like people are just sleeping on JJ. Maybe that's what all this is people don't understand, because, and it drives me crazy when people are like, oh, JJ, Michigan didn't ask him to do much. IMG, when he was in high school, Nazareth Academy, they didn't ask him to do much. I just think just because they didn't ask him to do it doesn't mean he can't. And I think we'll see that once JJ's in the pros. Like, listen, I think the best argument I can make on why JJ is going to be successful, if I just want to show you one game, it's actually not any game he had in college. It's not any game he had in high school. It would actually be the preseason game against the Raiders. Because all the kind of question marks I had about him being able to layer the football, him being able to, push the ball downfield at a very high level, he answered all those questions. Like, we knew the mobility was there, we knew the accuracy was there, and those are still there. And he's just also got, like, such good fundamentals in the pocket. Like, the one thing about JJ is, one, he's a great athlete. He wants to get outside the pocket and make plays. But that's not his first instinct. Like, his first instinct is to slightly adjust the pocket, reset his feet, and then his hips just move so fast. Like, you guys know the Dak Prescott viral when he's warming up and he's kind of going there. here. Like J.J. McCarthy, he has been trained with that since he's been a young kid, which most of these quarterbacks have been. But, J.J. just does it at such a high level. He's had some great quarterback coaches in his time. He's had some great coaches in his time. Like when he was in high school in Chicago, he had the best Illinois high school football coach, in my opinion, of all time, going to IMG. Obviously a great coaching staff there. And then J.J. plays under Jim Harbaugh, obviously one of the best coaches in NFL or college football history. So listen, he's had great coaching. Now obviously with Kevin O'Connell, will be the best coach he's ever had. So, I am all in on this kid, J.J. McCarthy from Nazareth Academy. Shout out to him. Seeing Xavier, that'll be a big 3. That is massive. Xavier, shout out to you guys. Marquette about to get blown out in the Big East tournament. The Muskies. And then they answer with an and 1. Roger Bong, what's going on, man? Saying what remains for possible quarterbacks? Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew are the 2 guys I'm keeping my eyes on, mainly throughout free agency here. Let me actually get a list for you guys. Still got, obviously, good old Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson, that's not likely. Yeah, let me just check. Like, still got Trey Lance out there. Brandon Allen actually just went to, I think, the Titans, I believe. Zach Wilson to the Dolphins. Rodgers still out there. You still got Minshew, Trey Lance. Taylor Heineke's not a bad choice. Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, Case Keenum. Cooper Rush still out there. How about a little Teddy Bridgewater, huh? How about a little Teddy Bridgewater? See, if we're going a quarterback for the vibes, I know a lot of people want Jameis. If we're going a quarterback for the vibes, it's Teddy frickin' Bridgewater, everybody. It is Teddy Bridgewater. Skywalking McCarthy. I love this name. Shout out to you. Hashtag Vikings. Should Bradbury move the tight end 3, being an athletic guy and his strength as an outside zone blocker? I feel like that would work. Plus, he has college experience at that position. Did he play tight end in college? I thought he. See, what if Bradbury's a 6th offensive lineman? The Vikings start going to those sets. See, the only thing is Bradbury's only 6 foot. I said only 6'3", 300 pounds. But normally those guys are like swing tackles who they bring in. Let me just check here. Bradbury's PFF grades in college. Yeah, allergies do suck. I am with you, man. Let's see. NCAA, North Carolina. Back in 2018, Bradbury was there. He played. I'm not seeing any snaps at inline tight end here. God, his PFF grades in college were so good. We really got duped by Bradbury, man. I thought he was going to be legit. He had a year, 2016, where he played left guard. He did not grade out too well, though, at NC State, 88 or 68.1. Oh, so he was originally going to be a tight end, then he moved to the line? I gotcha. I guess Bradbury does have experience at left guard. He didn't play too well there in college, but maybe the Vikes are thinking about that. We'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. Yes, allergies do suck. Minnesota sports fan. It's not fun for me, man. Not fun. So we were just planning on going live for about an hour here. We're about 55 minutes right now, so probably sign off here in about 5 minutes. And if anything else happens, we'll break it down. We'll go back live. We'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll see. Look at the Xavier Musketeers up 12. Love to see it. Kirk is still on the Falcons. Apparently Atlanta does not want to release him. So, you know, if he does get released, I could see Kirk maybe being an option. And maybe that's what the Vikings are also waiting for is like, hey, well, we would prefer Kirk Cousins as a backup quarterback. Good voice to be in the ear of J.J. McCarthy as well. Maybe they're waiting on Kirk is why they haven't signed a backup just yet, but we'll see. G. Brill Ferguson saying, should we get Kupp then wait for the draft to build the rest of a defense and get Cam Ward? I know you heard that rumor. I don't know if it was a rumor. It was just that the Vikings met with him at the scouting combine. I think that was Kevin O'Connell just kind of doing his due diligence and just meeting. I mean, the Vikings met with Caleb Williams last year, and there was no chance they were going to go land Caleb. So I think it was just KOC just kind of he probably just likes to meet with all these young quarterbacks. So yeah, I'm not really looking too much into that. But yeah, I think Cam Ward. I think Aaron Rodgers has a better chance of being the quarterback for the Vikings than Cam Ward. I'll put it like that. Cole, what's going on? Funny one here. Sign Fran Tarkenton to a 1-year deal. Yeah, let me ask you guys this. Would you rather have Fran Tarkenton or Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback next season? Laquan Treadwell. Never been more wrong about an NFL wide receiver prospect than I was about Laquan Treadwell. I thought he was going to be a stud. Also, I don't know if you guys remember, Justin Blackmon. He used to play for Oklahoma State. I thought that guy was going to be the next Des Bryant. Wrong about him as well. Yeah, both went to Oklahoma State. Both physical, big wide receivers. Shout out to Fran Tarkenton, though. Zamfam, appreciate you. $2 super chat saying, go get Kupp. Trade Addison for Sauce Gardner. Skull. Yeah, that would be that would put the Vikings that would definitely take the Vikings offseason to another level, huh? They went and got Cooper Kupp, traded Addison for Sauce Gardner. That would be wild. That would be wild. We'll see though. I don't really think that has a good chance of happening, but I think Kupp does. I just don't think trading for Sauce, you know, something that is, you know, too in the cards for the Vikings, but who knows? Who knows? Vikings fan, do you think we could get Cooper Kupp for cheap? Yeah, I'm curious to see what deal he's going to sign. If I had to call it, it would be a 2-year, $18 million deal for Kupp. I think that's where I would put it at. Maybe like $10 million guaranteed. Maybe it comes out, it's like a 2 for 25, but it's actually a 2 for 18, and he's got like $7 million in incentives. I could see maybe that being the case, but I don't think Kupp's going to go sign like a 4-year, $56 million deal by any means. You know, he's getting older. Sure, he just wants to also give himself flexibility year to year. I mean, how old is Kupp? He's got to be, I mean, he's 31 years old. Yeah, I would probably assume Kupp 2 for 18, 2 for 19 maybe. No, exactly. Like, why would the Jets want to trade Sauce Gardner considering they just lost DJ Reed? No, I hear you. I think the Sauce stuff just got kind of out of control on Twitter. Kind of just hit a jet stream there. So we'll see, though. NFL has definitely gotten a lot more active in the trade market the last couple of years, so anything is on the table. Yeah, Roger, what's going on, man? Is Kirk still out there? He knows the system, and in a pinch would have a game or two in him. He would be a good mentor and plus in the locker room. I hear you. I just think Kirk's unlikely, but if Kirk was out there on the market, I think he would be my number one free agent target for the Vikes at the backup quarterback position. I think it would go Kirk, Flacco, Minshew, then Teddy Bridgewater. That's what I'll say. Kirk, Flacco, Minshew, Teddy. Those are my top 4 right now. I'd love to see. Imagine if JJ got, like, I'm not even actually going to throw that out there. Imagine if JJ was abducted and he couldn't play in a game for some reason, and Teddy Bridgewater had to step in and play a game. That would be awesome. No way on Kirko. You guys don't. Would you guys be open to a Kirko return? Like, just be a backup quarterback on a 1-year, $2 million deal. I think that'd be awesome. Kind of like what Roger was saying, though. He knows the system. Great locker room guy. And also, if JJ has to miss a game or two, throwing Kirk in there would be a lot better than, Flacco, Minshew, or any of these other guys, in my opinion. DeMarcio, what's going on? Corey saying, I think trade Hawkinson for Sauce and draft Loveland 24. I would love that. I don't know if TJ has too much trade value. I think if that's the situation, like it would be like TJ Hawkinson and a first and a third for Sauce Gardner. I think you would have to give up a lot. What about Trey Lance? I'm all right on Trey Lance. I mean, the fact that the Cowboys lost Dak Prescott last year and they didn't turn to Trey Lance, I think it kind of proves to me how bad Trey Lance is in practice. And we saw how bad he was in that one preseason game. He had 5 interceptions. So yeah, I would rather have me or Dylan as a backup quarterback than Trey Lance. I'd rather sign Rodgers to be the backup than Trey Lance, being frank. Roger saying Teddy. How awesome would that be if Teddy Bridgewater returned? I never actually had a Teddy Bridgewater jersey. And he was my favorite Viking player when I was growing up. Like Teddy Two Gloves was unbelievable. But him as a backup quarterback would be kind of electric. I think they're waiting on that one big domino who's smoking. Yeah, Stephon Diggs. Would you guys be open to a Stephon Diggs return? No, we're good. Yeah. Thielen is out of the question. I forgot about that. Very unfortunate. No, yeah, I'm probably good on Diggs. Would be a good wide receiver 3, though. I think it would still have still has a little bit left in the tank, I think Diggs does. As a wide receiver 3. Obviously, I don't think Diggs can be a 1 by any means now, or even a 2. But just where they are right now, I just think rather go a different direction. Amari Cooper would be interesting. Talked about some of my top wide receiver 3 targets. Cooper Kupp's number 1 by a wide margin. And then I'd probably go Keenan Allen 2 for me. Tyler Lockett's in there too. Goody. Tyler Lockett would probably be 3 for me. 4 would probably then be Diggs. Like, listen, I wouldn't be opposed to a Diggs return. As the Seahawks just tweeted out, Happy Darnold Day. That's pretty funny. We need a 3 or a slot. I just think we need a 3. Because Addison and Jefferson are all so versatile. They could both go play in the slot. Do you want Stephon Diggs, though? You guys let me know. Curious to see what you guys got to say. I also still think the Vikings sign Cooper Kupp. I think that could happen by the end of today. Knowing our luck, that'll happen at 9 o'clock at night. I would love Jahdae Barron, man, from Texas. I just don't think he gets the pick 24. If you give Diggs, there should be a shut the F up policy in the contract. There will be something. Some Vikings news here. Alexander Mattison is going to the Miami Dolphins. The worst goal line running back in National Football League history. 17 carries over the last 2 seasons at the goal line and -4 yards. Oh, Tommy Wood, we rest this weekend. We have a trade. We have a trade involving the Minnesota Vikings. They are trading guard Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans. That is hilarious. That is so funny. Texans fans get bad news. That is hilarious. Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans. We'll get that trade graphic up on screen here shortly for you guys. Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans. Breaking news here as we are live. Ed Ingram being traded to the Houston Texans. Don't have word on the details just yet. Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans. Holy cow. We're able to sneak a 7th-round pick out of him, Quasi? That'd be sick. Thought we were going to cut him. This dude's allowed 21 sacks in 3 seasons. God, it's crazy. Ed Ingram played 1,100 snaps year 1. The Vikings are trading Ed Ingram to the Houston Texans. Holy cow. Quasi making moves. That's what this has all been held up for, is Ed Ingram. Yeah, Rodgers was waiting for Ed Ingram to get off the team. Now he's all in on signing. Did you look at that? A trade. Wow. Hopefully the Vikings got a draft pick out of that, huh? See you, Tommy. Thanks so much for tuning in, man. Yeah, let me actually look up just Ed Ingram on a Spotrac. See how much the Vikes are saving here. Oh, my God. We're getting a 6th-round pick for Ed Ingram. That's electric. We got a draft pick out of Ed Ingram. That might have been the best move Quasi's made all offseason. You were able to trade Ed Ingram for a draft pick. And we just saved $3.2 million. Oh, I do have a little bit of a cold, William. We just got a 6th-round pick. Holy cow. A 6th-round pick. That's electric. Yeah, love that. What a masterclass. What a fleece job. He's got an extra 6 for Ed Ingram. Are you kidding me? We're about to cut this guy. Oh, I can already see Texans fans. They might think they see the 3rd-round guard out of LSU. They might be able to trick themselves. That's electric. We'll take a 6, though, for Ingram. Bradbury might be next. Apparently the Patriots could want Bradbury. Oh, that's awesome. An extra 6th-round pick is crazy for Ingram. Do we got that trade top in there? I'll just select Sam. Ed Ingram traded to the Houston Texans. Yeah, Ed Ingram's worth a 9th-round pick. I'm shocked they got a 6th. Rodgers got the Teddy jersey. I love to see that, Raj. Oh, man, we'll take that, though. Should look at that. Would you prefer Rodgers or McCarthy? Give me J.J. McCarthy. Any day of the week, rolling to number 9. Alexander Madison's only 26 years old. I feel like he is. I mean, is that right? That's what just Jordan Schultz just said. I feel like Madison is like 35. Yeah, he is only 20. Was he there with No, he's there with Dalvin. Yeah, he was there with Dalvin Cook for a little bit. Pat, Amari, Cooper, Stephon, or Cooper Kupp. Give me Cooper Kupp. We traded Ed Ingram. Yes, we did. We traded Ed Ingram for a 6th-round pick. That's incredible. There we go. Vikings fleece job of the Houston Texans. God, he's 26 years old. I can't believe Madison's 26. If you actually would have asked me how old he is, I would have said 30. Best year for Madison was probably 2023. 180 carries, 700 yards. It was only 3.9 yards per carry. Yeah, there's the trade details. Ed Ingram to the Texans for a 2026 6th-round pick. Pat, Sauce or Kupp? I mean, obviously Sauce Gardner. But I'd rather have the Vikings sign Kupp because you wouldn't have to give up a lot for you wouldn't have to give up anything for Kupp. You'd have to give up a lot for Saucy, though. Oh, man, he was the worst. The worst goal line back in NFL history. That's incredible. No. Alexander Madison, huh? Going to the Dolphins. And then the Vikings got another draft pick. So how many picks do we have? So I think we had all of ours in 26. So we have a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th. I guess our 4th or 5th might head to Jacksonville. We'll take that extra 6, though. That's actually huge. Love that. For trading Ed Ingram, we got a draft pick. We were going to cut him. It's a shocker there. Are they going to have Ed Ingram start at right guard? Nah, Nick Chubb's not happening. Ed Ingram was a 2nd-round pick, man. He was terrible. He was terrible. Ed Ingram for a 6th. Got to assume Bradbury's next. Trade him for another 6th. Are the Vikings gearing up for a Sauce Gardner trade? No. This is just them getting what they can for Ingram. I bet you the Vikings were calling a bunch of teams being like, hey, we're going to cut this guy. If you want to guarantee he's on your team, we'll just take a 6th or 7th-round pick. No, yeah, 2026 6th. So we'll take it. 2026 6th. That's awesome. Yeah, he kept stepping on our quarterbacks. Ed Ingram was terrible in pass protection. What is your gut? You think Kupp is wearing purple? I do. I think it just makes a lot of sense. I can see why the Vikings would want have interest. I can see why Kupp would have interest with the Vikings. There's Joel saying Mekhi Becton. I don't think the Vikes are making any more moves at the interior of their offensive line. That's pretty hilarious, though. Ed Ingram for a 6th-round pick. This guy was a 2nd. Gotta love Kwesi for having some self-awareness here. That was, Kwesi's 2nd pick all time drafting, and he said, "F it, I'll cut bait with him. We're gonna cut him anyways. We'll move on." Do you have confidence in Blake Brandel? I do have confidence. I think him next to Ryan Kelly and Christian Darrisaw, we'll see better production from Brandel than we saw last year. It's hilarious, though. Ed Ingram for a 6th. That's incredible. Does this mean Dalton Risner returns to be the backup? If the Vikings trade Garrett Bradbury for a 3rd, build the statue of Kwesi. Yeah, true. They should already have a statue for Kwesi here. Because you're also trading for Ingram on a second round rookie contract, so it's not like it's a. I mean, his cap hits aren't extreme at all, but still. I mean, you would assume that Ingram would have got 1 year, $1.2 million. Like, he's got a cap hit of $3.6 million next season. I'm just shocked the team's trading for him. Could you imagine Kupp, JJ, TJ, Addison? Scary. I know. It would be awesome if we could get Cooper Kupp. Oh, yeah, that 2022 draft class is rough, my guys. It is the worst thing Kwesi has done is that 2022 draft class. Oh, my God, Ryan Conwell. You guys should remember this name. You heard it here first from me. The star of March will be a guard from Xavier University, a lefty named Ryan Conwell. Xavier's about to punch their ticket to the big dance. What do you think about J.K. Dobbins? I just want the Vikings to draft a running back. Can't believe Madison's still getting work in the league. Alexander Madison going to the Dolphins. What are they doing? Because it's so funny. They probably view Madison as that like bruiser goal line back, and it's like he's the worst goal line running back in NFL history. I'm just shocked that any team still wanted to get him. Junkins, I would love Quinshon Junkins. That's also a guy you could potentially trade out of the 1st round, get him early in the 2nd. Like if the Browns first pick in the 2nd round, if they want to maybe trade up, that would be sweet. I'd be all in on it. We'll see, though. GIS Wizard coming in. If Genty falls to 16, do we trade up for him? I really, really wonder if the Vikings, like, what if they're huge on Ashton Genty, where, like, Kwesi views him generational prospect. I'll be curious if that 2026 first is in play. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm just shocked that they were able to get a 6 for Ed Ingram. Pat, any updates on Kupp? The only update we got today was from Jordan Schultz saying that Kupp's not going to drag out this process. So, assuming Kupp will get signed before the weekend, probably the next 24 hours, I would say. This Xavier Marquette game is off the chain. I don't think I've seen a miss in the last 4 minutes from both teams. I just can't believe the Texans traded for him. Oh my God, Ryan Conwell. This dude is disgusting. Ryan Conwell. Remember that name, everybody. You'll be hearing it all March. That dude is tough as hell. How about Minnesota basketball? The Golden Gophers firing Ben Johnson at 1:19 in the morning. That was a shocker. Oh, Ryan Conwell is so good at hoops. Pat, I want to hear your thoughts on Loveland. Imagine him teaming up with Hawk, JJ, JA, and Kupp. I mean, if Hawk's still on the team, listen, I think Loveland would be sweet. I think he's going to be an awesome pro. 6'5". I mean, was he about 230? And his wiggle when he's running routes is ridiculous. A guy that big should not be able to move like that. The only way I'm taking Loveland, though, is if you trade Hawk. I don't want to draft a tight end 2 necessarily, who will eventually be the 1 if you would take him. But I would rather go running back if Hawk's still on the team. Really, really go all in on this year. And I don't think Loveland's a pick that, would have more long-term impact. Where did Rodgers go? Any teams grab him yet? No, Rodgers is still out there, man. It is now 2:53 on Thursday, and Rodgers is still out there. Oh, yeah, that's breaking news. Ed Ingram to the Texans. Who would have thought? How do you feel about Harrison Smith returning? Very, very happy. That's why I didn't really and I was just watching Aaron Rodgers tape, and I was feeling extremely under the weather last night. That's why you guys didn't get a video on that, so I apologize. A little shocked at how much money he got, but I still think that contract's kind of indicating that the Vikings still think that Harrison Smith still has a lot of good football left to be played. It's kind of how I'm reading it. We'll miss you, Ed. No, we will not. No, we will not. Addison and a third for to the Raiders to get Genty. I actually wonder if the Raiders would do that. Let me ask you guys this. Would you do Addison and pick number 24 for pick number 6? You guys let me know. Jordan Addison, pick number 24 for pick number 6. Do I think that's nearly enough to move up? Absolutely not. I think you would need to throw in an extra third or something. But just kind of playing that out. Would you trade Addison, pick number 24 for pick number 6, assuming the Vikings could then get, maybe Travis Hunter if he falls? Yeah. You know who just got bad news? CJ Stroud just got bad news. 2 firsts? No. 1 first. Just Jordan Addison, pick number 24. I guess Addison, first round pick. That's what you're getting at. All right, what if we got Cooper Kupp? Vikings signed Cooper Kupp. Would you give up Addison, pick number 24, and a third? A lot of no's, a lot of yeses. I mean, that would guarantee the Vikes get Ashton Genty. I'm assuming that would be the move. Let me ask my Raiders report host, Mitchell Renz. I said Jordan Addison, pick number 24, and a 2026 third for pick number 6. Would you guys do it? Now, Addison and this year's first and next year's third. Would you do it? It would be a great culture fit with the Raiders. That's all I'll say about that. I'd probably say no, just because I don't really think the Vikings need to trade up to go get a running back, considering how much value you could find in this year's draft class. Like, listen, you could go get an Ollie Gordon in round 5, and I'd be thrilled about that. Yeah, this year's class is too deep. I probably wouldn't do it. Man, Ed Ingram, Dunzo in Minnesota. Did they sign Rodgers? No, they did not. Thank goodness. This Marquette's making this a game. It's not good. It's biggest game. You know, the whole cliche, basketball's a game of runs. That is so much more true in the Big East. Good D. Aston Genty and Kupp. That'd be a pretty nasty combo. This is the Vikings chat. Yeah, and also the Raiders, there's no chance they would take pick 24 Addison and a third for the 6th pick in the draft. It's just too far for them. Yeah, unless they get word that Shador's fallen. Colts signing. Oh, man, I just need the Vikings to sign a backup. No, I know. Seriously, Deshaunte. CJ Stroud. He's going to be running for his life next year. Alrighty, guys. I think we are going to sign off here. Listen, I am feeling incredibly under the weather right now. So, listen, we are going to sign off. I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. If any other more news happens around the Minnesota Vikings, we will go back live. We will break it down here in full. Oh, no. Looks like we'll stay live here for a little bit longer. Holy cow. The legend from yesterday and the day before, D. Warren coming in with another $100 right there. I'm already feeling a little better. Man, I don't know if you guys hear it in my voice though. It is not feeling too hot right now. But D Warren, what's going on, man? Sending in $100 super chat. Everybody show D Warren some love. Give me a skull D Warren down below in the live chat right now. Keeping us live. That's what I love to see, D Warren. Thank you so much, man, for supporting the show. You are the best, my friend. But D. Warren saying, I think trading Addison would be a huge mistake this early. He is a legit 2 and wide receiver 1 for some other teams around the league. Carolina. Just keeping adding to what we have. Also, him and JJ are great friends. Let's keep that intact. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point when you're talking about trading Jordan Addison. Is like, how would Justin Jefferson feel? Like, I'm sure he would be like, man, that's my running mate. That's the guy that, if you guys remember when Addison got drafted, he literally said, he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to go play with Justin Jefferson." He was like, "Let's go get paid, man." It was an awesome quip he had. So listen, that's a very good point, and he would be a wide receiver one for some other teams. I just don't know if like what if a team like the New England Patriots is calling us? Scold D. Warren. He might think something is happening, Pat. Does D. Warren got some insight on the Vikes possibly making a move here? Saving us? Yeah. Like, are they about to make a move in the next 5 minutes and we're going to be thanking D. Warren that we're still live? Possibly. But D. Warren, seriously, thank you so much for sending it in. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, Addison is a tremendous wide receiver. It's just when we talk about Jordan Addison, I think we need to keep it in the context that, kind of long-term future for the Vikings here, even though we are very focused here on the short term, considering the Super Bowl window is now, and you don't want to be thinking too much about the long term. But, like, do the Vikings really want to pay two receivers $60 million? I'm going to probably say no. And you would rather move off the contract early or move off the player early because you'll get more draft capital or get a better trade comp, in return. But, again, I'm still with you, D. Warren. Like, I wouldn't trade Jordan Addison unless it won, like, guaranteed they would have a better answer at the wide receiver 2 spot for next season. Like, if they sign Cooper Kupp, then I'll be a lot more interested in trading Addison just because you would at least have, not as extreme as a fall off compared to, like, let's just say it was Jalen Naylor had to step up and it was like Tristan Jackson's your wide receiver 3. Like, there's just not a lot of good weapons. Obviously, you have the, the anchor, the top dog in Jefferson. But still, like, yeah, I would just be against it. Man, we appreciate you a whole lot, D. Warren. Thank you so much, man. You've been showing all types of support this week, and it is truly, truly unreal what you've been doing. But, yeah, he is a legit 2. He's one of the best 2s in the National Football League, if not the best wide receiver 2 right now. And maybe we don't appreciate Addison as much since, we do have Justin Jefferson, and I would love to see Jordan Addison as a wide receiver 1, like in this offense specifically. Because also, guys, when Jefferson was missing time due to that hamstring in the 2022 season before that was the, or 2023 year when Kirk Cousins got hurt, that one San Francisco 49ers Monday night game, Jordan Addison was awesome as the wide receiver 1. He had like 2 touchdowns, 100 yards in that game. And then even like we saw his impact, like in that Chicago Bears game, that Atlanta Falcons game when he had 3 touchdowns, like 150 yards. Like, it was one of the best like wide receiver duo performances ever with Jefferson and Addison. So yeah, listen, D. Warren, I'm still very much against trading Addison. Just kind of fun conversation in the offseason for us to discuss. But we'll see what ends up happening. But D, I really appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much, man, for tuning in, supporting the show. When we got you guys sending super chats like this, showing love to us, like, it just, keeps me motivated here, man. So seriously, appreciate you. Thank you so much. There's not more I could say. I wish I could do more and just say thank you to you. But it really does go a long way. I know this is your hard-earned cash you're sending in here, but it really does go a far way. Just keeping the lights on here at Chat Sports. We're a company, so, like, every cent matters. It doesn't go back to me. It goes right back into this, company that we are building here. Like, listen, I was the 14th or 15th person hired here, and now we're up to like 34, and it's because of guys like you supporting the show. So, really, really appreciate you. So, D. Warren, shout out to you, man. Thank you very, very much. Caesar coming in, saying the only trade for Addison I would accept is for Sauce. We'd also need to keep. We would need Kupp beforehand. Those are my thoughts, Caesar. Like, if they would trade Addison and they didn't have a solid wide receiver 2 already in place, like, I think that would not be like a total disaster because, like, this team is still very, very stacked, even if you just take, less of production at the wide receiver 2 spot. I still think they'll be a very good team. But also we've seen, like, in this Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay system, you need to have 2 wide receivers. Like, you guys remember when the Rams went and won the Super Bowl that year? Cooper Kupp was awesome throughout the whole year. But when did we see that Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp offense take that next step? It was when they actually acquired OBJ midway through that year. And Odell Beckham, guys, he was such a big part of that Rams Super Bowl run. Like, even the Super Bowl, he had that one fade route, first touchdown of the game, had that massive crossing route over the middle of the field when he unfortunately, tore his ACL. But that system that Kevin O'Connell and Sean McVay run, it works well with a second wide receiver. It's almost like a need for that system because obviously, like, it's all ran through the X, the X wide receiver. It's all ran through the Jefferson, when it was Cooper Kupp in Los Angeles. But you need that other guy working off him. And Addison's done a great job in that role. And then you just have that third guy mixed in there, like, the Rams, like Tutu Atwell's been awesome. But, we'll see. Yeah, but I'm with you, Caesar. The only way I'm trading Addison is for Sauce, and you would have to have Kupp, in place already. So that's where I'm at. At least I'm happy we're all on the same page with Addison. And I hate talking about trading him because I don't know if Addison's, tuning in on YouTube to any of these people, but I'm sure he's like, why the fuck are these guys talking about trading me? Like, I'm a dog. I'm one of the best wide receivers in the world, man. I'm sure he hates hearing all this reckless talk, but it's just that offseason. It's that time where, we just discuss every avenue that is possible for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I'm all for keeping Addison. There's no, I'm with you guys. I'm with you. Boys, coming in, man. If we don't get Kupp, who do you want as our wide receiver 3? We've talked about options like a Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Amari Cooper. I think are good choices. Like, if you don't go the veteran route, though, like, listen, if it's not one of those guys, I'm probably cool with the Vikings just rolling out with what they have. Like, I don't want them to reach on a wide receiver 3 unless, like, they think it's a perfect scheme fit. Because, listen, Naylor was pretty damn good for the Vikings last year. Had 6 touchdowns, had a lot of big third down catches as well. So, listen, I would be cool with Naylor staying in there as a wide receiver 3. And also, listen, I might be a sicko for this. I want to see Tristan Jackson. Like, Tristan Jackson, I was so disappointed he didn't make the 53-man roster last year because he had an awesome preseason. Like, it wasn't just like his production was good. Like, the eye test was great with Tristan Jackson. Listen, I have a tough time. I am not a good, like, full transparency here. I don't think I'm a good offensive line evaluator. I don't think I'm a good quarterback evaluator. But I will say I think I am pretty spot on when I'm talking about the wide receiver position, the running back position, and especially defensive linemen. I feel like and tight ends as well. But when it comes to offensive line, quarterbacks, I feel like I'm not the best. But with the wide receiver spot, Xavier just is now down. Holy shit. Yeah, I'll just rather go another direction. If you aren't able to land the veteran guys like the Cooper Kupps, the Keenan Allens, I would rather just have them maybe go towards staying in-house. And they also, who's that UDFA they paid? Like Ja'Shawn James, maybe? That was the guy they gave a boatload of money to. So maybe they just try to go that route, but, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to be caught up all the way live. There we go. But, boys, I appreciate you for sending in your hard-earned cash to get your thoughts up on screen, man. Shout out to you. Football fan Skull, what's going on? Just saying, yo, welcome in. You've been holding it down all free agency long, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to you for tuning in this whole time. I'm just still stunned over that Ed Ingram got traded for a 6th. How the hell is that possible? You know what I'm proud of myself for? I'm proud of you guys for? We haven't talked Aaron Rodgers in over an hour. It's almost why I want to get that cut out. You just put that out. You guys can yell at me one more time for talking about Rodgers, and then we move on. Keeping eyes on the Big East tournament. Zach Freemantle, nasty move. Get Aaron. We need him. We do not need Aaron Rodgers, my friend. I think I'm going to headline that video. The Vikings do not need Aaron Rodgers. Very entertaining basketball game. I will say it's been up and down. Oh my God. Zach Fremantle. Dunk the ball, my friend. Oh, that would have been a dagger. Ingram still has value. I disagree. I'm shocked the Vikings were able to get a 6 for him. Now I wonder if a Garrett Bradbury trade is next. Like, if the Vikings trade Bradbury, that's definitely a video, but I don't really think Ingram. I don't really think I talk 8 minutes on them trading Ed Ingram. Oh, Deshaunte, I'm stunned, my friend. Oh, Fremantle. I am stunned. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm going to title that Rodgers video, "The Vikings do not need Aaron Rodgers." Yeah. At least the majority of that was. Football fan school. Appreciate you, dude. Shout out to you. Like the Brett Favre season. Listen, it's not 2009 anymore. It's different. It's different. Oh, Roger, what's going on? Feel better, bro. Go get some rest. Thank you for being here. No freaking problem, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are the best. Alrighty, I think this is going to do it, though. It's Corey Miller coming in and Caesar coming in. We're staying live. What's going on, everybody? You guys are the best fans in the world. You know that? The best fans in the world. I appreciate you. This is 4 days in a row. We're going on about 20 hours this week of live streaming. This has been my flu game, everybody. I feel like Michael Jordan before Game 6 of the 97 finals he was dealing with the flu. I think it was the 97 finals. Quasi in the chat. Quasi in the chat. Corey Miller, what's going on, Brody? People saying Bradbury gets a 3rd rounder. I doubt it. I doubt that, too. I think it'll probably be for a 5th. I could see Patrick saying Osborne's better than Addison. You know who is the biggest KJ Osborne fan in the world? It was the guy you're listening to right now. I loved me some KJ Osborne, and I was wrong about him. The thing is, like, he had that 1 year, I think it was his 3rd year in the league. He was so good. That 1 year when he had that Colts comeback, when he had like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. But no, Osborne is not better than Jordan Addison. I mean, Osborne was, what, a 6th-round pick? Addison was a top 25 guy, Bolindikoff winner. Same figures, LMFAO. Oh, I was a big KJ Osborne fan, man. I was saying KJ Osborne was the best wide receiver 3 in the National Football League. Kind of wrong about that. But also, KJ had his moments, man. That one Colts game, yeah, that year 2022, that one Colts game where he had 150 yards, I felt very vindicated on my KJ Osborne takes, and then it was just downhill after that. But because then the drop started being an issue with KJ. No, he is nowhere near Jordan Addison, though, in terms of just the player. Like, it is just night and day. Like, just think about, like, the levels. Like, KJ Osborne, if he's your wide receiver 2, you're not feeling good about it. But if Addison's your wide receiver 2, you're like, oh, my God, we got one of the best in the league. And if Addison's your 1, you're like, we still got a pretty solid 1. And then it's like if Addison's your 3rd wide receiver, you're saying we got the best wide receiver 3 of all time. Yeah, Rodgers would not fix the chemistry whatsoever. Yeah, big difference, Quasi. Big difference. Caesar coming on. Quasi pulls off the Kupp trade after all he has done, and now the Ingram trade. This might be the best offseason we've ever had. But you wouldn't need to trade for Kupp. You just need to sign him. But point being, if Quasi's able to land him, that'd be huge. Oh. Oh, man, oh, man. Z Cool, what's going on, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Now, I agree. If the Vikings land Kupp, though, you can make an argument this is the best offseason of all time, Caesar. Oh, my God, Ryan Conwell, you dirty dog. What has he got, like 25 now? Lefty stroke. Is that the real Quasi? Yes. Caesar saying Kupp signing. My bad. I'm at work. You're all good, brother. You're all good. Don't worry about it. Sauce in a cup of my fries. You hear me? I hear you, Kingsblade. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, but Caesar, I'll tell you what. I got a lot of faith. Got a lot of faith in where this team's heading. This was an unreal offseason. Yeah, Hitman came back. That was great to see. Shout out to Quasi for getting that done. Also, like, this is the year the Vikings go do it. Feels so much better that Harrison Smith's on this team, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Deshanti, what's going on, man? I just can't believe the Texans actually gave up they gave up a draft pick for Ed Ingram. Just think about that. They gave up one of their draft picks for Ed Ingram. Incredible. This game's going to come down to it, ain't it, Dylan? Oh, no. Oh, no. Cam Jones, Ryan Conwell. These guys, they look like the exact same player. Lefty snipers. You know, this is only his 4th year. Yeah, I swear, this had to have been like his 6th year. Like he had a COVID year, redshirt year or something. At least I'm pretty sure. Bradbury to the Browns. Not seeing that. Oh, no. Working with y'all seemed fun, not going to lie. Oh, it's a great time, man. It's a great time. Just saw the energy levels were way different 2 days ago. I just wish because we haven't been live for any other big signings. Like because we weren't even live for Ryan Kelly. That was right after we signed off. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers. That was the only move we were live for. Yeah, but we anytime we're live, Quasi doesn't make moves. Besides this one, Ed Ingram for a 6th-round pick. We'll take that. Doing any drinking today? No drinking today. I would pass out if I drank today. I'm just too under the weather for it. But hey, if you guys want the Vikes to sign Cooper Kupp, hit that thumbs up icon for me. There we go. Nah, even if D. Warren, there's no amount of money to get me the drink today. Sorry about that, fellas. Cannot do it. Just going to talk ball today. See, I even think if I did push-ups, I would pass out right now. My body's just got nothing. Could do like those desk push-ups. Man, oh man. You guys excited for March Madness? Selection Sunday this Sunday. Games start next Tuesday in Dayton. I'm a big college basketball fan. Cannot wait. Hopefully my Musketeers get there. Last 4 in right now. And if they win this last 5 minutes of basketball in the Big East tournament, they should get in. Marquette Xavier squaring off in Madison Square Garden. So a little fun tradition. No football talk here. Oh, that is a dagger. Who is that? Is that Job? A little tradition me and one of my buddies had. We would go to the Big East basketball tournament every year, but then NFL decided to put free agency, or the Big East tournament decided to move it a week, or no, I think it was the NFL decided to move it a week back, so I wasn't able to go to the Big East tournament every year, but that was like the most fun tradition. Take a week off, go to New York, hang out at Madison Square Garden all weekend. It was awesome. I mean, look at everybody standing there. That is Joplin. He's tough as hell. He's been in with Marquette for a very long time. Diggs wouldn't want come back plus JJ and Addison better. I actually wonder if Diggs would be open to a return. Because Diggs didn't like Kirk and Zimmer. Now it's a whole new era here with Kevin O'Connell. And, like, still the guys that were on that team still love Diggs. So we'll see. Dylan's in the house. Don't worry. What's up, Johnson family? Thanks for tuning in, my guy. Randy saying, let's get sauce. I wish we could. I just don't think it's likely. Yeah, Cooper Flag rolled his ankle today. He did look good. Yeah. Which hopefully he gets that cleared up. I bet you they put Duke. They'll put them at like the last game Thursday night or Friday night. Yeah, which would be the right call. No. JJ to JJ all day. What college basketball team do you support? The Xavier Musketeers. Zip them up, baby. Zip them up. Shout out to the Muskies. That's my favorite press conference clip of all time in any major sport. It was when Xavier squared off with Cincinnati as here on the Vikings channel. I'll give you guys a Xavier basketball history lesson here. They were playing Cincinnati, huge rival, one of the biggest rivalries in all of college basketball. And it got really chippy after the game. And a player on Xavier was like, they got a lot of fake tough guys over there. And you know what we have to do, the fake tough guys. We got to go out there and zip them up. And then zip them up became like the thing for Xavier basketball fans, which is like, hey, you just got to go zip them up. You just got to go zip them up. I just love that phrase, too. Like, I wish we had that for the Vikes. Oh, the Vikes just got to go zip these fools up. I love it. Yeah, apparently the Falcons and Patriots are both looking at a Garrett Bradbury trade, which is pretty funny. When did this trade happen? Probably about 30 minutes ago. Yeah, Patriots just released their center. Long-time starter there, David Andrews. Yeah, David Andrews got released, so they'll be in the market. As we do have news on Garrett Bradbury. The Vikings plan to release center Garrett Bradbury if they can't trade him. There we go, coming in from Tom Pelissero. That is great timing. The Vikings will plan to release center Garrett Bradbury if they can't trade him. There we go. Vikings plan to release or trade Garrett Bradbury. So all that left guard talk is put to bed. So I guess that means Blake Brandel, just lock him in as a starter. Pat, would you let Diggs date your sister? No, that is that video is hilarious though. I know you're referring to. Vikings plan to release Garrett Bradbury if they cannot trade him. So there's no more Garrett Bradbury left guard talk. It will be Blake Brandel. Oh, I'd love to have Kupp in the slot. There's no doubt. He home ran. That's funny. Vikings plan to trade or release Garrett Bradbury. Just in. Some offensive line news for the Minnesota Vikings today. Trading Ed Ingram. And they plan to release Garrett Bradbury. There we go. It's a good trade target for the Pats or the Falcons, potentially. We got the most stacked line in the NFL. I would probably still go Philadelphia in terms of the best offensive line. But the Vikings have a top 5 offensive line, I think. They got a top 3 defensive line. Great weapons. Just, really they have checked every box, man. No, I'm with you. Blake is good. He just needs Darrisaw back. I mean, we saw the numbers fall off a cliff when Darrisaw left the lineup. Please no. Please no. Please no. Oh, my God. What a rebound. Swain. Just get it to Conwell and get out the freaking way. Good pass. Good finish. There we go. 2:50 remaining, 77-77 in the Xavier Marquette game. JJ, you need to get on live stream with Pat. I'm with you. Oh, no. It's Cam Jones again. Stressful times right now in the Big East tournament. Yeah, but here's the news around the Vikings. They plan to release Garrett Bradbury if they can't trade him, and also Ed Ingram heading to the Houston Texans for a 6th-round pick. Oh, no. I don't think they got this one. I don't think they got this one. Breaking news here. Who you pick, Xavier or Marquette? Give me Xavier, baby. It's my alma mater. Would you take Jamar Chase next year if he doesn't get a new contract with the Bengals? Joplin, please no. That would have been the dagger, I think. Yeah, I just don't know if Chase – I mean, what, the Vikings going to pay $80 million for the wide receiver position? No, that's way too much money. It would be cool, though. It would be cool. Could you imagine Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and let's go. Let's go. Is that Conwell, baby? Could you imagine Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Joe Burrow all on the same NFL team? Please get a fucking stop. Oh, my God. The lefties are going back and forth in the Garden. What a game. Cam Jones is such a stud. That's incredible. I don't know, man. It's our Houston Texans Today host, Jeremy Chuggs. Feel bad for C.J. Stroud. He just got some bad news.
Oh, no. Better depth.
More depth?
Yeah. We needed a backup since we traded away Kenyon Green. So
he's
the Kenyon Green. He's Kenyon Green plus.
He's
better than Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green was ass.
Ed Ingram might have been the worst guard in the league.
You my friend, do not know Kenyon Green.
You, my friend, don't know Ed Ingram. I'll tell you that.
I mean, low risk though.
Low risk, yeah. You're getting him. I'm just shocked they got one.
Bradbury. He suck or?
I mean, all Vikings fans think Bradbury sucks. He's probably, I'll say Bradbury is like the 25th best starting center in the National Football League. Oh, dude, this has been a sweat.
Dude,
This has been a sweat.
I'm on needles and pins right now watching.
Look at the second half performance by these two.
Dude, Ryan, I knew Ryan Conwell was going to show up.
I've been trying to tell him, man. I've been trying to tell him.
Ryan Conwell's been that guy.
He's been that guy. Shout out to Indiana State, baby.
Dude. I forgot Shaka's there.
Shaka's there. Shaka Sean Miller squaring off in the Garden right now.
This is where Smitty is. This is why he's not here today.
Yeah.
Holy shite.
Yeah, but congrats on Ed Ingram. Hopefully you guys get more out of him than we did.
Yeah.
It's a low risk, medium to high reward.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, he becomes like a low end starter for it. Oh, tripping.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness.
We gotta watch the last.
I know Xavier's about to get knocked out of March Madness right now if they don't win this game. We're up by 14 earlier.
If they don't win, they're not in.
It's gonna be a sweaty Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Oh my God! Can we stop Cam Jones? Don't you dare call foul. Joplin, please don't. Joplin, no. The dagger. Oh, my God. All right, Joplin needs to relax.
Attack.
Yeah, that
Attack.
dude's a stud. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Marquette, 84. Xavier, 80. Oh, my God.
Dwayne Wade, sit down. Seriously. Oh, that was a rhythm 3, too. That's so unfortunate. Who's your preferred backup quarterback option? It is Joe Flacco. I mean, we got to go
Get
quick.
in there. Get in there. And one.
All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Make college kids make free throws.
Is it? Or are they at 1-1? That's the.
I
don't know what. The
Oh,
1 and 1.
Marquette's got 7. I don't know how many Xavier has. Oh, my goodness. Our March Madness hopes on the line. No Flacco. He makes too many mistakes. We're not signing Joe Flacco to play any games for the Vikings. It's just the voice in J.J. McCarthy's ear I would like. $2026, though. 2026 sixth for Ed Ingram. We'll take it. Yeah, give me Nicky Manwari or Tyler Booker. No. How old is Hawk? I think he's what, 29? He's 27 still. He's 27 years old. He will get cut if he's not traded. He's expected to be released by the Vikings. We're going to sweat out this Xavier Marquette game together, fellas. Mainly me. We'll sweat it out. Oh, we only have 3 fouls, too. We do have the possession arrow, which is huge in these moments. Yeah. Both Cam Jones, I think he's one of the best free throw shooters in the country. Cap space saving as Bradbury is cut. It's 3 point something. Let me actually look that up here. Garrett Bradbury's traded or cut. Get you guys the contract details. If he is traded, they save 3.6. Same thing if he's cut, 3.6 million. But if they make it a post-June 1, they could save 5.2, which I'm assuming they will, instead of taking on all that dead cap this year. So I'm assuming they'll designate him. As we got a little football going on right here in the Garden. Oh my God, we're good. We're good. Here we go. Jets and Addison are the new Moss and Carter. Yes, they sir. What are you guys watching? We're watching Xavier Marquette. It's 84-82 with 14 seconds left. Conwell a dog, baby. Yes, sir. Ryan Conwell. Know the name, remember the name. Fortunately, Conwell might not be playing here in March if Xavier doesn't win this game. 84-82. Yeah. We'll be the 1 seed in the NIT, which is the worst spot to be in. I still think if they lose, though, they might put them in the Dayton. Like, maybe they'll put them as 11 seed there. We'll see. Have we traded for anybody? Nah, the only trade the Vikings have made was Ed Ingram for a 6th-round pick. And then that's also the news. Garrett Bradbury expected to be released by the Minnesota Vikings. All right. American of color. You got to stop. Yeah, winner plays St. John's. No, we lost to St. John's twice. We went to overtime with them 1 game. We should have won. We were up by like 15 in that one. Pat, any updates on when we are going to release Bradbury? I mean, I'll expect this to be soon to just kind of, help Bradbury go find another home. Like, I got to assume the Vikings are calling teams right now, being like, hey, if you'll give us a 6 for Bradbury, we'll take it. Very similar to probably how they treated Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram trade, possibly the greatest trade of all time. The Vikings traded the worst guard in the league for a 6th-round pick. It's a miracle for the Vikings. That was all you, Quasi. That was all you, man. I wanted Joe Milton over JJ. Well, you're alone in that camp, my friend. Who do you want in the draft? Give me Amari and Hampton, baby. Give me Amari and Hampton. I had Caleb Johnson as my running back too, but I think after the combine and how well Hampton tested, I'm going with Hampton. And Caleb Johnson's my third guy, but again, it's same tier. What are we rating your free agency so far? Give me an A. That's got to be a foul. That's got to be a foul. That's got to be a foul. No, he shoved off. Oh, of course it's fucking. Is it 7 for the bonus? I mean, that's a push. That's enough. He's not even looking at him. Sean Miller is losing his mind right now. What's up, Isaiah Garcia? How you doing, man? Oh, my God. Can we stop giving the ball to Cam Jones? All right, one more foul. Do you hoop, Patrick? Yeah, I hoop. I hooped a lot in college. Basketball was my sport growing up. Tried to actually walk on at Xavier. I was one of the last cuts for the team. Funny enough. But, hey, if I would have made the team, I would have never started my football podcast in college, and then I wouldn't be here covering the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, my God, get it. Get it. That's good. I love it. Come on, kid. Miss one. Just missed this first one. How tall are you? 6'1", 6'2". 6'2" on a good day. 6'3" on a really, really good day. What's your jump reach? No idea, man. All right, here we go. Free throws to decide it. Oh, my goodness. Come on, man. That's a frickin', that stinks. Can you dunk? I could only dunk at one point in my life. You see that fucking free throw? Never seen a bounce like that. Ben Gold, give us one. Ben Gold, give us one. Xavier down 85-82. 7 seconds left. Ryan Conwell has it, and Marquette, that Shaka Smart. That's college basketball at its finest right there. The first one, look at that. Come on, man. That's not good. Davey OG, I'd rather have my next colonoscopy without anesthesia than Aaron Rodgers. Are you sure about that, Davey? All right, he makes the first. Do you make this? You got no timeouts. Do you make this? I think you do. Oh, yeah, with E. Miller. He's back. Do you make this? I don't know if he is. All right, number one. They went for it. All righty, 6.7 seconds left. 1 point game in the Garden. Marquette's going to run their 4-vert set to inbound the basketball. Yeah, they were able to inbound it to Cam Jones every single time right there. Look at that. They're setting up the screen. Xavier defends it well. And we're sending. No, that's not Joplin, is it? No. Hawk and a pick for Sauce. I would do it. I don't think the Jets will, though. I think the Sauce conversation, it was a fun one. Twitter. It just took off on Twitter. Crazy. That's a crazy comment. I'd rather do the Bonnie Blue challenge over having Aaron Rodgers. You are ridiculous. Yeah, Alexander Madison to Miami. Madison over the last, I think it's 3-4 seasons, he's got 17 carries and -4 yards on the goal line. What if Jordan Addison goes to Seahawks with Darnold? What, they just give up some draft picks for him? I don't know. No timeouts here either. Oh, my goodness. This has been a hell of a game. I mean, if the committee's watching this, use the eye test here. Miss. Now, this is the big one because Marquette's going to foul right away. Like, if he makes this, this is game. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah. That's why these games take, like, some of them take 2.5 hours. I know. Give me a miss. Conwell, if he's gonna foul you, just put it up. Oh my! That's three. That's three. You still playing the game here? Or are you missing the second one? 4 seconds. I wonder. Oh man. I mean, you were up by 14. This would be a disaster for the Musketeers. Sean Miller decided to wear white today for a reason. They don't want the pit stain showing. I mean, Ryan Conway. This kid's probably got 35 points right now. He does have 35 points right now. Come on, Conwell. 2 right here. Front end of a 1-and-1. Miss this, it's over. You miss this, it's over. Conwell, first one up. Oh my goodness. Now Sunday is going to be a disaster for me. Nah, I want the Xavier. Yeah. It's a tough one for the Muskies. Oh, my goodness. Can't be missing that currently, Froffin. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Yep, Fremantle missing that open dunk earlier. Oh. We're going to be 21-11, and we're going to be the 4 seed in the Big East and miss the tournament. Up by 14 when Fremantle missed the dunk. Oh, my God. What a disaster. Oh, I mean, the rolls they have been getting. Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, man. That's terrible. Alrighty, guys. I think it's about that time to sign off here. And they hit the 3 at the end. Are you kidding me? Conwell's going to finish with 38. Xavier loses by 2. What a depressing loss. Oh, my God. All right. We're going to get on out of here. Shout out to Isaiah Garcia. Go Lobos. We'll appreciate you, man. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon. And, oh, man, yeah, crash out is coming. Listen, I'm feeling under the weather. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. But we'll see you guys later when the Vikings make some more moves. Skol Vikes, baby.